Hey, Brave Soul, it's your friend Chrystal Dawn, and this is her Brave Story podcast.
For me, when you ask about what I see for my art, like I've just got big dreams now. I'm like, nothing is impossible. There is nothing on this planet that is out of reach. And that's how I live.
I want to begin by acknowledging that I am on the sacred lands of the Arakwal people of the Bundjalung Nation. And I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm truly grateful that you are here. Her Brave Story podcast is a conversation that sparks courage, ignites possibility, and celebrates the brave in every woman, because women's stories matter. If we haven't met yet, welcome. I'm Chrystal Dawn, storyteller, saltwater mama, and women's mentor, here to support you in creating a life that you love with more freedom, joy, and ease. I am so grateful that you are here because today's conversation could absolutely shift your perspective, open your heart, and remind you of what's possible. I'm joined today by someone whose presence and purpose are unforgettable. Taminga Connell, Bunaba DJ woman, the mother of 7, an artist, and the partner in the award-winning Kimberley Spirit Tours. From the moment I connected with her, I felt her joy, her wisdom, and her deep resilience. Taminga shares a message of unity, healing, and hope for future generations. This is a conversation about reclaiming identity, rewriting your story, and remembering it's never too late to shine. Before we dive in, please follow our show, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear her brave story. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Her Brave Story podcast, Taminga Connell. Thank you so much for being with us here today. I sincerely appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. It's so exciting.
Taminga Connell, you are a Bunaba Dika woman.
Yeah.
And you're coming to us from an area that we know commonly as the Kimberley.
Yes. The most beautiful part of Australia, I must say.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, what's it like up there today?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. The blue skies are out, the dry season weather's kicked back in. So it's back to sunny blue skies and perfect.
I would love to hear from you on your relationship to this area, because what I understand is your art is deeply impacted by your relationship to country and what country means for people who don't have that understanding of country yet.
I'm coming to you today from Kununurra in the East Kimberley, which is the northest you can go in Western Australia, right up on the tip. So it's very remote. I am a Bunaba Gidja woman. Bunaba is my grandmother's side, which is the Central Kimberley, Fitzroy Crossing region, and my grandfather is Gidja. Gidja is well known because it touches the Bungle Bungles, which is a wonder of the world, located here in the East Kimberley.
Incredible. And you grew up in this region, in Kununurra, and between the coasts as well. We have the East Coast and the West Coast, and Kununurra is somewhere between that.
Yeah, so I live in Kununurra and have done so for many years. This is where we choose to grow up our children. I got 7 of them, but my family's originally from Halls Creek in the Central Kimberley, which is it's the desert. It's the tip of the desert, so it's very different to Kununurra. Kununurra, the name itself means big water, and we have so much water around here, where if you go to Halls Creek, I think 40 kilometres out of town, there's one spring, which is a water hole for the whole community. So yeah, that's a beautiful little town. It's known for its gold back in the day. I'm an artist, so a lot of my painting, or all of my painting, I should say, has gold in it. A part of it is from where I'm from.
I love that. And as you said, you're a mother of 7.
Yeah.
And what are the age ranges of your children?
Oh my goodness. Have you got time? I've got a 8-month-old, a almost 3-year-old, 10-year-old, 12, 14, 17, and 19.
Congratulations. That
Yeah.
it's just phenomenal. As a woman, I just feel like you need a crown and a cape.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, thank you. It's wonderful. They're such beautiful children. I'm so blessed to have such beautiful children. They're all kind and loving and um, yeah, just incredible. And especially the five older ones, the journey that we've all been on together, like it's pretty intense. So to see them all smiling and happy on this side of the fence, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, congratulations on having your family together
Yeah.
and creating such a beautiful life for your family as well, Taminga. And I'd love to hear from you on anything you want to share about with your art too. How do you even fit in time to help your husband run your business, which is the Kimberley Spirit Tours,
Yeah.
world acclaimed tours through the Kimberley region, as well as create amazing art, which we can see behind you here too.
Yeah. If you find something you love, you always make time for it. Or well, you try to. And as you heard, I got kids from very small to young adults who are quite helpful. So I find time to squeeze in my paintings. As I touched on before, I put gold in all my art. So there's two reasons. One of them is because of my family connection to Halls Creek, which is a gold mining town. And stories of my grandmother. She just had an eye like an eagle. So a lot of my childhood memories are just panning for gold, prospecting, and we'd go sit in the dry riverbeds, and she would look, and she'd be like, "There it is," and you'd look, you can't see nothing, and she would pick up the tiniest speck. And I always put gold in my art for that reason. And then also, secondly, because it's just the light, and I think it captures the eyes of people, and it's just life and light, I guess. And yeah, gold is just a really special, significant color to me. So I make sure it's in every one of them. Yeah.
Amazing. And you sparkle like gold, Taminga, and we've got to meet before this conversation, which I'm so grateful for, and hearing you speak about your art. I'd love if you want to share about how you came into your fullness of being an artist, because that wasn't something you always made time for or even connected to in this way.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. As you mentioned, I helped my husband with Kimberley Spirit. That's my precious husband, who I'm so grateful to have in my life. We have two children together. That's why there's such a big gap. He's dad to five older ones, but he's the biological father of two, which are my Miri and Ezekiel. But prior to that, I had been previously married and had a bit of a not the nicest experience. As I was coming out of that, there was a lot of abuse and many years of it. I got, I was looking for a way out and a way to heal. And I think I was searching in all different areas, sometimes not the right area. But I did come across someone who mentioned art therapy. So I was like, this is just crazy. I didn't think I had time for it. I didn't think it would serve any purpose. But I gave it a shot. And it was so beautiful. I remember the first time that I had a session with this lady, she just sat under a tree, which nature is also something that's really important to me. So instead of sitting in a building and having a discussion, which in, like a sterile environment. We were out under a tree on the green grass, and she brought out this big canvas pad and just told me about it and said, there's no right or wrong way. It's just sharing. And I guess I was like, oh yeah, I had a crack at it. And all the colors were quite dark and gloomy. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just picking them, and quite harsh sort of paintings, or pictures rather. And yeah, over time it changed and the colors lightened, and she kept them all and handed them to me. And you could see the significant difference from the beginning to coming out to the other side. So that's how my journey started with art. And it wasn't until many years later of rebuilding and getting to know myself that Scotty, my amazing husband, came along, and he knew my story. We were friends for many years. He knew my story because I was a single mum for a long time as well. One thing he told me I needed to do was, my job now was to look after the kids. And I was like, well, what do I do all day? You know, because they were all at school, and it was my job to be a mum. And I never had that support and love from anyone before. You know, it was just like the kids go to school, and you can bake, and you can do this, and be a homemaker, and all the things that I dreamed of. But then when I had that opportunity, I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So I was going to decorate my house. That's what was happening. I was like, I'm going to decorate this house. So I started painting again. And yeah, my mum, one beautiful thing I want to add is my mum always has watercolors sitting on her kitchen table. So when you go over to have a yarn and catch up with family, and that's the meeting point because she's the elder for our family in this community. So anyone who's related to us, that's the hub. That's where you go. So you find you're just sitting down and painting and having a chat, and you don't even realize until, wow, you're like, well, that's pretty good. So it's a part of our life, sharing stories through your art. It was just something that I didn't, do for a living until I started painting for my decor in my house, and people were like, wow, that's really nice, you should sell it. I thought they were pulling my leg at the time, but they weren't, and that's how it all began. It just went boom.
Understandably, look at your art. It's incredible, just as you are, just beaming in front of it. Your energy is there in the canvas as well, the brightness and the colors and the depth of your story as well, having been through different times, bringing real life experiences to the palette. This isn't all just rainbows and sunshine.
No,
Sometimes we got hard
absolutely.
times.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what it is, and explaining that to people. The piece behind me is called Nyawan, which means the gathering. There's the center and like the fire and the like a campfire. Everyone loves a campfire. You sit around, you chat, you catch up, and everyone's drawn to the fire. So the center is the crew in the fire, like hanging around the campfire, and people on the outside are like, hang on a minute, what's going on there? Let's get to that. We want some of that. So that's everyone drawing in, and these are the connections forming of different tribes and cultures. And it's not just about the Indigenous Australians and the non-Indigenous. We live in such a multicultural country. So for me, it's just about the connection of community as a whole, globally, everyone coming together. So as important it is for people to understand my culture and my people, it's not just for this country. It's I got a bigger picture of global unity, So that's what my paintings are.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, so they're the connections of people here coming together and drawn in. And then outside, we've got different regions that are like trying to get through and connect. So there's always a way. Nothing is ever too hard to get through something, We might have, there's a little line here, but then it still allows access. I put gaps in between these little ones, so there's still access, even though it thinks there may not be a visible way. If you look hard enough through the little nooks and crannies, there's always a way to the other side.
So powerful. What a way to live as well. I may not be able to see it, but I know that there's going to be a path somewhere. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to get through
Absolutely.
and weave my own path, because I see lots of paths there. It looks like there's infinite numbers of possibilities that you're creating.
That's right.
And you use this word unity, which I love, bringing together, the bringing together. Is that something that's been a part of your life for a while, or how does unity fit into your life?
Bringing people together, that started, I guess, hearing my grandparents' story from Halls Creek. And I've got the biggest family in the Kimberley from my grandfather and grandmother and grandfather. She had 12 children. And they all had a lot of children as well. So they were a part of the stolen generation. And Halls Creek isn't where they're originally from. The Bunaba tribe is, like I said, from Fitzroy Crossing, which is about 270 kilometres from Halls Creek. And then my grandfather is from another, probably the same distance, so just under 200 kilometres towards Halls Creek. So they were taken from their mothers because back in those days they were half caste, so they had full blood Aboriginal mothers and then white fathers. So they were taken, I guess the words to use were they weren't black enough to be in the bush and live as bush people, but then they weren't white enough to live in normal society. So they were just put into these missions and given an education. So yeah, I guess coming out of that and then living in the they lived in when they came out of the mission, they went and lived in Halls Creek, and they were allowed to. Oh, my grandfather was allowed to have a job, and but there was still separation between, because they stopped taking some of the kids to the missions by that stage, but they weren't allowed to live in the town, so they were put in Aboriginal reserves, which we still have around the place now. Even in Kununurra, the original reserve, there's still a lot of families who chose to stay there, and there's still separation between the communities. So I guess unity is something that's really important because we're all the same. We're just a bit different colour skin. So to see everyone come together and be unified, it would just be amazing.
Wow, I got human bumps. Thank you for sharing about the stolen generation too. I think there's a lot of people who get what that means, how painful that is as well for people who weren't with their families and went through things that were really ununifying and unkind. And for you to have such a big heart to bring this together, any of us, when something happens and it's unjust, there's a feeling of wanting to rectify it and to have justice, really. And what I'm hearing is your way of working towards this is unifying.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And I've been so blessed to come from such a strong woman, my grandmother, who raised strong women, who then were able to pass that down our line to not allow us to have resentment or bitterness or anything, which is freeing in a sense that we can live without that, because if you're carrying those things, it can be really difficult. And so I do, yeah, she was such an incredible woman to care enough for her children and their children to stop it there. And then we're allowed to, then we are able to share our stories and see the bigger picture.
Yeah, to have an impact.
Yeah, exactly.
And because you've shared already things that are so brave to come through, I'm just so curious, what do you feel is the bravest decision that you've made in order to be where you are now, on the other side of what was not the best first experience with, your ex-partner,
Yeah.
moving into this beautiful marriage with Scotty, with a man who just adores you and who cherishes you, and who you have a prosperous, beautiful life with, you coming into your own as an artist. I mean, you have so many experiences. I just love to know what you feel at this stage in your life was the bravest decision that you've had to make, or the bravest thing you've done.
I think the first decision is actually wanting a change. So stepping out of a abusive or a relationship that was toxic into something new was scary, especially with 5 little kids. Because all these things go through your head and you think, oh, well, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to do this? Oh, I won't be able to do this. And all these negative thoughts just roll through and you can't see beyond that. So I guess that decision initially was probably one of the toughest, because in my mind, it felt easier to stay there than get a life outside of that. It was hard to see, like, you lose this, this, and you don't think of the positives. You just think of everything negative to stop you, and then you go, oh well, I'll just stay here because it's too hard. And then I guess that was the biggest one, which was obviously now when I look back could have happened a long time before, but it didn't. So that if you knew, I guess we always say that if you knew what you know now, back then it would have been different. But anyways, that was the first decision to step out of that. And then I guess the next one was learning to love myself and know my worth and know that my value and that I'm important and then my kids are so important, and rebuilding on that. Because it doesn't matter what sort of abuse you've been through, but if you've been told something for so long or you've been treated something for so long, even though I thought that I was so strong-minded that's not true, it sort of attached to me. And then when I came out, I was like, oh my goodness, well, who am I? I didn't know who I was anymore. So I guess taking those steps to realize my importance and my worth was probably the bravest things I've ever done.
So incredibly brave. So brave and powerful.
Wow.
And for anyone, let alone a woman with 5 children, like, let's be honest, it's children, we love children, of course. We're both mothers, and I love my son. And even with one, there are things that have been a struggle for me, because there's so many things I want to do, and then the surrender that has to come from the way that I want to parent, the way that things are in my life right now. That's just gonna have to let that go.
Wow.
And to be able to have the courage to persevere with 5 children through all of the things. Just massive congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you. And so now my girls, because out of that I've got 4 girls now and 2 boys, but then I had 3 girls and 2 boys, and I didn't want men who were going to grow up and think that's okay behavior, and I wanted daughters to be treated like princesses. And we're so blessed now to have stepped out through that, and now they see that and they're just like, oh my goodness, Mum, you are so loved. And I'm like, I know. Crazy.
So deserving of love. And you use this term. I stepped out, I stepped out on this, and you kept taking steps forward towards what you knew that was possible for you, even though you couldn't, just like the painting that you said, you might not be able to see a way, but you knew somehow it could be possible for you.
Absolutely. I heard this saying once, and it was like, climb and maintain, climb and maintain, climb and maintain. It's not climb and go backwards. It's like maintain it, get good at it, and then move forward. So that always stuck with me, and just know that even if it's the smallest step in the right direction, it's definitely worth it.
Oh, I love that. And I know everybody listening is going to love that too. Climb and maintain, climb and maintain. Keep going. And what you said earlier too, that you saw your own worth differently through everything else, and it gave you the courage to take that next climb and keep going for it. And you have this incredible vision for not only for your life, but for your community.
Yeah, so art therapy is something that's been wonderful to help me through, but then art in itself and just expressing yourself. Just recently I've worked with 20 girls at the local school, Indigenous girls, with a program, and we've been doing a big painting together, and just like explaining to them that this is your story. There's no right or wrong. Don't look at the other person that side. Don't look at that side, and just, this is you. There's nothing, and so it's been really positive, and they've been growing their confidence and going, well, nah, I drew this, so don't look and pick on me. It's not your story. This is mine. And so the girls are really taking that on, and especially in our Aboriginal culture, you go around here. This week we've been out and about because there's so much rock art, and we've got a archaeologist with us, and he's just fascinated, and he's got all the stories behind on how long this has been there, and the history of the Aboriginal people, and especially on the northern part. So it's in us. It's storytelling and art is in us. And we have Kimberley Spirit Tours, but we also have Kimberley Spirit Foundation, and a part of that dream and vision for me is to have an art gallery open, not just for our guests to be able to come in and see and purchase art, but have young mums. For me, I was a young mum when I had my eldest daughter. So a safe place that they can come in, paint, share their stories, and then be able to display that as well, and have something to be proud of. And if it gets sold, they got a little bit of pocket money on the side, and just it helps so much to build your confidence up.
And what an incredible vision for your community and for the world at large as well, to create safe spaces for women and for community to come together and transform.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So exciting. And is there something that's really bringing you a lot of joy right now? What's bringing you joy, Taminga? What's bringing you the most joy in your life right now?
Just life. I just love life, everything. And my children can honestly say this: there is not a day that goes past. I mean, we all have challenges. Every single one of us have days where it might not be going how we want it to go, or something, not happened that made you feel a certain way. But overall, I feel like I can honestly say that I carry joy with me every single day, and I see the beauty and joy in everything. And that's not to say life is easy, but I just look around where life is right now, and I'm pretty content with watching my kids thrive and grow and develop, and then watching my amazing husband and all that he does for us, and how our family is just whole. And then not just that, like, because of what we've been able to do, other people can see and like interested. It's the same thing what it draws in with the campfire, like people see it and want to go, what is that? What's going on there? And being able to have that ripple effect. Well, that's what I would like to see.
I love that. You speak of thriving to me, like you are thriving. You're beautiful, you're thriving, and your art is thriving as well and alive. Can you tell us about your art and what you're up to with your art and what you have planned and how you want to share your art with the world?
I've realized in my art journey, so it started big for me, I could say, I guess you can say. I had a painting, my first painting, that Scotty was really pushing me and going, okay, this is the one, let's share it. And I was like, no, and then he's like, no, it'd be really good, let's share it. And when he shared it on social media is amazing in that aspect of getting to connect with people and seeing what you're doing. So the very first painting he put up, I was like, I didn't want to know about it. He's like, look at all the love you're getting. I was like, I don't want to know. And then a guy rang Scotty, and when I got home, Scotty was jumping up and down, a bit excited, and he was like, you got it, baby, you got the opportunity. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, this fella, this incredible guy who's now become a really good friend down in Perth, said, can you paint my helicopters? And it's not just any helicopter. They're like the Schmicko best Eurocopters, the flashiest helicopters you've ever seen. And I was like, are you serious? So I got painting, and we were going to Perth that following week. So I got painting and was painting all along the road, doing everything. And I ended up delivering this piece of art to him. And within the coming weeks, he transformed it and got a big wrap and put it on a helicopter. And he loved it so much that he got another one. Then he's like, another one, and another one, another one, another one. It was just, the flow-on effect was crazy. So for me, when you ask about what I see for my art, like, I've just got big dreams now. I'm like, nothing is impossible. There is nothing on this planet that is out of reach. And that's how I live. And I think having the art gallery up and running, that's a step in the right direction to open it up to so many different people and so many other opportunities, not just for me, but the crew behind my children and their friends and the girls at the school and the other women who I can see coming here, an opportunity for all of us to put Kununurra on the map. For the art, not just for the bungles. They'll be like, we want to come see all these women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible art. I love it how you went from doing it in your home, and how beautiful as well. Like I want to say, how beautiful is it when a man can support you and encourage you and promote you as well. Let's give it up for all the men out there who are doing that and are really taking care of their women. So
Yeah.
big love for the men doing this. This is important, and this is all part of the healing as well for all of us to have these new experiences, to have support, encouragement, not only from women, but also from men.
Yeah.
And I love that it was a man as well who said, I love her art. I want it. And I don't want it
Yes.
just for my home. I'm going to take it to the sky.
Yes. Yeah. And we, like I said, everything has gold in it, even those helicopters. So anyone who sees those choppers, there's a few that sit on the Kimberley coast up here and they go during the season and they go off. So the guests on the boat get to go see the waterfalls and have their day excursions from these helicopters. And then there's a whole bunch down Perth and they've got gold on them. So you can see them reflecting in the sky as they fly around. And everyone, it's so funny because Perth is our hub. That's a bit of perspective of where we are as well in the Kimberley. Perth is 3,500 kilometres south. So we're right up top. And Perth is the main hub for us. A lot of people fly down there and they see the choppers and you can see it from a mile away because of the gold reflecting. It's just beaming that light off there.
I love it. Your message, your frequency, your love frequency going out and changing lives. Because just looking at your art here that you have with you, it's already speaking. Do you have a story behind each piece, or does it just kind of flow through you? What's your process as an artist?
It's all the individuals. So if I get a commission piece and someone asks me with the colours or sort of style that they're after, I like to have a conversation with everybody and find out what story they're trying to get across. The same was for the helicopters. That series is called The Journey. So it's all about the journey towards unity and just people connecting again. And then, yeah, I speak to everyone individually, find out a bit about their family or how many children, or if they've had a loss or their story. And then I just spend a lot of time meditating on the words that I got, whether it's unity or togetherness or flourishing and what that really means, and then try and create that specific piece of artwork for the individual. And then I'm connected to them. And then they feel it's not just a piece of work that's thrown at them, it's a personal piece that I can share. And then they have the opportunity to share with who they know and their family and friends and grow from there.
How incredibly powerful to have something so personalized as well in their lives. You're really capturing the essence of what their story is and your story as well, working with them.
Pretty cool.
Do you have favorite colors, or do you have like country colors, or do you have your own personal colors?
Yeah, earthy tones. I really love earthy tones. I have paintings. I like all these colors here, but my favorite colors are like the white and the rich red ochre with the yellows and the browns, and what reminds me of what I see out on country. And the gold, especially this time of the year when you go out on country, the spin effects in the sun, it's gold. It glows like gold. So it's all those colors fit into what we see in nature when we go out.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love that. And maybe one day we'll be able to commission you to do an artwork for Her Brave Story.
Absolutely, for sure. I'd love that.
Where can people find you then, Taminga, and how can people commission you? What's the process for that?
Yeah, so Kimberley Spirit on Instagram or Facebook, and kimberleyspirit.com is our website, and you can go straight on to the art section, send through a submission and have direct contact with me.
Amazing. And can you spell out Kimberley? Because it's a little bit different of a spelling than people might expect.
KIMBERLEYSPIRIT. kimberleyspirit.com.
Amazing. Thank you. And on Her Brave Story podcast, and I just want to encourage everybody who's listening right now, you really want to get over to kimberleyspirit.com, because it is also a beautiful website, and you're going to get to see more about where Taminga is from, as well, the incredible tours that they offer. And if you're lucky enough to be on Instagram, you can see the visuals that you and your husband capture are just outstanding. It's out of this world. It's a real visual treat. And then linking back into your art, you'll be able to see her inspirations for the beautiful country that she's on and is from, and how Taminga's inspiration is just really flowing through organically from this space. And if you're lucky enough, you might be able to come to Australia and visit and book in the tours, because this region it really is the epitome of the Australian experience. Like, I'm going to be honest, I lived here in Australia for 10 years before I made it up to the Kimberley and Kununurra area, and I was just blown away. My heart flung open as soon as I landed actually in Darwin, and then I went overland from Darwin to Broome and stopping in Kununurra on the way, and never experienced anything like being on the red earth. And then these oases, the gorges, just well springs of verdant green and lushness happening in rugged terrain, and then the rock formations. And I didn't even get to see everything. It's such a wide, vast area and wild. It's the largest wilderness still in the world.
Yeah.
I think the largest like real wilderness still left on this planet.
Yeah.
Because of how remote it is and how rugged the landscape is.
Yeah. You nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. And on Her Brave Story, we're building a playlist for songs that get us in state, because for me personally, music really helps me if I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts or just need to get my vibe back. And I'd love to know if there's a song that is your jam right now, or your anthem, something that you're really rocking out to.
Few weeks, I've been listening to Gurumul. I love him, and anything that he's in his playlist is just my favorite at the moment. So every time we get in the car, that's what's we're cruising along to, and everyone's loving it. So that's great. And I've been getting to share that with our guests as well. Yeah.
Gurumul Yunupingu,
Yep.
is that how
Yep.
you say his last
Yes.
name? Yeah.
Yes.
What region is Gurumul from?
From the Northern Territory. So we're only just over the neighbouring state. We're only 40 kilometres from the NT and Kununurra here.
Yes, and Darwin, just for reference, people, Darwin is in the Northern Territory.
Yes.
And then you cross over into Western Australia? Is
Yeah.
that right?
But yeah, Darwin is 800 kilometres away from us, and the Northern Territory checkpoint is 40 kilometres from Kununurra. But we are still Western Australians.
Okay, so Darwin is quite a distance still from you.
Like our main city, isn't that
It's
funny?
such a big
Yeah.
place.
If it is funny, if we want to go, like my girls, because they like shopping, and if we go, oh, let's go for a weekend away, we just drive to Darwin, which is 8 hours away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. And how great. It's just a quick shopping trip. That's so beautiful. I still remember landing in Darwin, and the first thing I actually noticed, landscape changed suddenly, and there were so many birds of prey in the sky. It just felt like everything was bigger up there and like more expansive and more raw. And
Yep. That sounds about right. It's pretty incredible.
through this experience that you've had in your life, what's something you really would hope that people could take away, or something that you'd want to offer for our listeners right now? What could you say to them that might give them some hope?
I guess it's never too late. We're never too late to change things, or, life to change is one thing. We're worth so much to someone. We're to somebody, even if it's not the right person, we're worth so much for ourselves, and someone else around the corner is so. There's more than one person in this world that believes in us. Sometimes we just need to believe in ourselves, and I guess that's a big thing, to know our self-worth and our importance, and that we are valuable and that we are loved, and nothing is out of reach. There is no thing, this is what I tell my kids, there is nothing that is out of your reach. The world is our oyster. And people used to say that all the time as a kid growing up. And I'd be like, oh, that's, like, what do they mean by that? And it's not until I sit right here now in this position and be able to say that there is nothing that is too far from our hands. We can achieve anything if we're willing to put in the time and the effort.
Wow. So powerful to hear you speak. And I'm so excited to watch as your journey continues to unfold. And I have one more question because it just kind of came to me. Is there any words that you want to say to young Aboriginal people who might get to listen to this, or who might be, out there right now, who you just want to send a message to?
Yeah. I'm saying that with a lot of the stuff that goes on right now with, the voice and all that sort of stuff, I don't like to go too far down that line of things. But even though, like, one thing my beautiful grandmother gave us, so as I said before, was that was her story. And as much as it was painful to all of our people, um, we have to look forward to our story and moving forward in a positive way. You can't keep looking back. You have to look forward. And understanding that there's been so much hurt and it has affected a lot of generations. I get that. I'm not being numb to that because I've seen it firsthand. But just knowing that we have our own story to create, and that can change generations to come just by one of us moving in the right direction and realizing that we can create a better ending for our lives and for the ones following us.
I just felt that with every part of me. And then it's a love letter to your people, but to the world as well, an invitation to go beyond what we can see right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to have radical hope and optimism. You have just blessed us with so much goodness today. I'm so grateful. I really feel like I just want to sit and hear more stories of your grandmother and
It was
and
awesome.
your family. So
Oh,
hopefully we can have you back on, because I'd love
please
to
do.
just
I
sit
would
and
love
just really listen along the fireside. I'm like, can we get a fire going? And just like, I will just sit and listen, and maybe we can have some damper, or I don't know, something
Well,
else.
absolutely. If you do that, then you really have to be like, okay, Taminga, the time's clicking. You need to get off now, because once you're around my campfire, then we're going to sit up all night and yarn.
Awesome. I really look forward to doing that one day with you and the kids.
Yeah.
My son will be running all night, running a raucous.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh,
So grateful. It's wonderful.
it's an absolute honor and delight. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to you and to your family as well, who have introduced me to you. I just want to send a shout out to Liz and Scotty
Yeah.
and the Connell family
Yeah, I was going to
for
say,
their hospitality to me too throughout the years, and their care and aloha, their aloha spirit
oh,
for me. They've just been beautiful guardians, and I'm so grateful to see Scotty so happy, and so happy for your family, Taminga. You're an amazing woman, and he's a very lucky man.
oh, thank you. We're so blessed to have him, and we are so blessed to be a part of the Connell clan. They're so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. And for anybody who is listening now, we're sending you so much love. Thank you for spending your time with us today. It's the most precious thing that we have in our presence. Please go to the show notes and check them out, where you can find Taminga Connell there and her outstanding artwork. Also, the Kimberley Spirit Tours And get yourself to Australia if you haven't yet, so you can get some customized art as well as have a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, we do ship worldwide, just saying.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
absolutely.
Awesome. This
Absolutely.
is great. This is,
Yeah.
and any designers out there who are looking for exceptional artwork, we never know where these stories go. And my belief is that these stories will fly and go out to where they need to. So if you have a company, if you feel drawn to Taminga's art, she could customize something for you and share it with people who need to hear Taminga's story. And I know that there are so many people out there just waiting to hear your story. And it is limitless. I love this idea. I'm going to take it to that it's limitless. The things that you're putting out there are limitless and they have a life of their own. And when you have the courage to create something from your heart and you pour your passion and your energy into it, good things happen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again for being here with me and us.
Thank you.
Big love to your family.
Thank you. Bye.
Deep gratitude to Taminga Connell for sharing her wisdom, story, and stunning artwork with us, reminding us that healing, unity, and new beginnings are always possible, no matter where we've come from. Find links for her artwork, Kimberley Spirit Tours, and more in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today, brave soul. I trust that these lessons and courage help you to grow your greatness and remind you you're not alone. Please take a moment to subscribe and share this episode as it helps other amazing people like you to find us and amplify the voices of women rising. And if you've been craving a deeper connection, head over to Her Brave Circle. It's our community space for women giving themselves permission to thrive, reclaiming their power, and writing new stories together. We'd love to have you there. I'll be right here waiting for you next time you hit play with a smile and your weekly dose of Her Brave Story, because women's stories matter. Until then, remember that you're worth it and thrive on, brave soul.